Good Shabbos, and it's the Shabbat that leads us right into Tisha B'Av, the day of the destruction of the temple, which leads us to a very big question. King David says in chapter 147 of Psalms at the closing, he tells his words, meaning of Torah, to Jacob, his statutes and his ordinances to Israel. What's the emphasis with the word his? God's the one that's telling it to us. Of course it's his. And from here our sages learn out that what God commands us to do, he does. What he does, he commands us to do. Which means that God keeps the commandments and the prohibitions. Which leads us to a question. There is one prohibition that's called Bal Tashchis. You're not allowed to destroy something in vain. There's another specific commandment concerning the holy temple and also synagogues where it says, Lo sasuke, you shall not do this to God. You're not allowed to destroy a temple, a shul, the holy temple. How did God destroy the holy temple in Jerusalem? Now, let's go over these different commandments. The commandment of thou shalt not waste, now thou shalt not destroy, Bal Tashchis, is a prohibition which is, you're just not allowed to destroy anything. So even if I'm destroying this because I'm trying to build a bigger one in its place, you're not allowed to destroy this. You need to build in a way that, we'll talk about this in a moment, that you build it in its place bigger and nicer. And that's what the sages told the king of Hordis. If you want to build a bigger temple, you have to build it in its place bigger and nicer. You're not allowed to waste. Another thing, the commandment of not destroying a temple, a synagogue, and the holy temple in Jerusalem is even if I'm doing it in order to perform another mitzvah. For example, the prophet says that God let out his anger on the iniquities of the Jewish people on the stones and mortar and not on his people. Thus, by God destroying the holy temple, he did the mitzvah of saving the Jews. That too is prohibited. So thus, what did God do when he destroyed the holy temple? If he's bound by his own commandments and he said that you shall not do this, then how was he able to do it? Thus, you must say that God did not destroy the temple in order to clean it away and to build a nicer one. God didn't even destroy the temple just for the sake of saving the Jews, because God could have done that other ways. But rather what we must say is that God took the temple that was, and it in itself, he's correcting it and elevating it to a total new level of the third temple, which is eternal. And this will explain a very interesting contradiction. In some teachings, it says that when Mashiach comes, he will build a third temple. In another teaching, it says that the holy temple shall come down, all done already, with all its details from heaven. Which one will it be? And the answer is that the mitzvah of building the holy temple is upon us. We're going to have to build it. And then what God is going to do is once we build the holy temple to the best of our capacity, God is going to fix the holy temple by allowing the eternal work of God, God's temple that he made in heaven, will descend and clothe itself within our temple. And that is why even today, when we go to Temple Mount, the holy temple exists in its holiness because God did not destroy the holy temple and sweep it away. And thus there's this huge big sign saying that no Jew is allowed to pass this marker because we are impure from funerals and other issues. And how can we go up to the holy temple? You're not allowed to go into the holy temple when you're impure. But by golly, the holy temple isn't there. And the answer is not true. God never destroyed the holy temple. Rather, he is taking the very pieces of what made that holy temple holy. And from that, he is rebuilding the third and holy temple and the eternal temple. And thus, when you think about this, everything that the holy temple means to us, what it empowers us, what it gives us, it's the center of our beingness as a people in our land. It is there. And thus I want to share with you a concluding story. There was a Gerer Rebbe. He lost his first wife. He lost all his children in the Holocaust. The Gerer was situated in Poland. And when they came to Israel, one of his followers was sitting across from him and said to him, Rebbe, I can't go on. I lost everything. My wife, my parents, my siblings, my children, everything. There's nothing left of me. And all of a sudden he started crying and the Gerer Rebbe started crying. And they were both crying very heavy. Until all of a sudden the Gerer Rebbe gathered up his strength and he said to his chassid the following. He said that the verse says, and Moses threw the tablets and broke it, Lifnei Einei Yisrael, before the eyes of Israel. What does it mean before the eyes of Israel? He broke the tablets. And the Gerer Rebbe said, the tablets that were made by God cannot be broken. And thus our sages say that the letters left the stones and went up to heaven. In other words, it was broken just before the eyes of Israel. What we were seeing is that the tablets are broken, but not that the tablets are broken. The tablets of God was whole, is whole, and will always be whole. We just don't see it. What we're seeing is the broken remnants of what truly is whole. And then he said, the souls of our families, the Jewish people, the 6 million, they're whole. They're just not within our eyesight. They were taken away from us. But every single Jew is the work of God, and that can never be broken. So too with our holy temple. Our holy temple is whole. Jerusalem is whole. Israel is whole. Our people is whole. The Torah is whole. Now it's our job to lift the curtains upon our eyes so that we can see this. And we do that by living aligned with what was never broken, just hidden within us. Shabbat Shalom.